This man claimed to be the devil. In 1981, a young man walked into a courtroom in Connecticut and said something no jury had ever heard before. "The devil made me do it." This is the real story of Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, the man who claimed to be possessed by a demon, and tried to use that claim as a legal defense in a murder trial. Some say it was a hoax. Others believe it was the first time true evil made its way into the American justice system. It was February 16th, 1981. Arnie Johnson, a 19-year-old tree surgeon, fatally stabbed his landlord, Alan Bono, with a pocket knife in broad daylight. The incident took place in Brookfield, Connecticut, a quiet town that hadn't seen a murder in over 100 years. Witnesses reported a sudden, unprovoked attack. Arnie had no history of violence. The motive? Some say it was jealousy. Others believe it was something darker. Police noted that Arnie seemed dazed immediately after the incident. He reportedly walked into the woods and was later found by authorities, calmly repeating that he didn't remember what had happened. But what made this case explode nationally wasn't just the crime. It was the defense. Months earlier, Arnie had been living with his girlfriend, Debbie Glatzel. Her 11-year-old brother, David, began exhibiting strange behavior. He claimed to see a dark figure, hear growling voices, and experience violent seizures. The Glatzel family, devout Catholics, initially sought help from doctors. But when medicine failed, they turned to the church. They eventually contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous demonologists and paranormal investigators. According to the Warrens, David was possessed by not one, but 43 demons. They documented everything: audio tapes, photographs, journals. They claimed that during a failed exorcism, one entity leapt from David and into Arnie. In the weeks following, Arnie began showing erratic behavior, growling, zoning out, speaking in tongues. Debbie herself claimed she saw him go into trances. He would wake up with no memory of what he said or did. The family insisted this was no ordinary mental breakdown. When Arnie was arrested for murder, his defense attorney, Martin Manella, made headlines by announcing they would use demonic possession as a legal defense. It was the first time in U.S. legal history that the devil was listed as a possible culprit in a murder trial. Manella even considered subpoenaing the priests involved in David's exorcism and the Warrens themselves, but the judge quickly dismissed the idea, ruling that supernatural claims had no place in a court of law. The defense pivoted, aiming to prove Arnie acted in self-defense or under diminished capacity. Still, the media swarmed the case. Headlines like "Possession in Brookfield" and "The devil made him do it" captivated the public. Reporters from across the country camped outside the courtroom. Tabloids ran lurid features, and late-night talk shows joked about it. But behind the spectacle, a young man's future hung in the balance. Despite the bizarre defense, the jury focused on the facts. Arnie had killed a man. There were witnesses. There was a motive. He was convicted of first-degree manslaughter and sentenced to 10 to 20 years. He served just 5 due to good behavior. In prison, Arnie was reportedly a model inmate. He earned his GED, participated in rehabilitation programs, and maintained steady communication with Debbie. But Arnie's story, and the Glatzels, never changed. They maintained that something demonic had played a role in the murder. The case inspired multiple books, including The Devil in Connecticut. It also became the basis for the 2021 horror film, The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. Skeptics, including doctors and psychologists, argue that David may have suffered from a mental illness, and that Arnie's behavior was the result of suggestion, stress, or even manipulation. But others, including the Warrens and the Glatzels, insist that what happened was very real and very dangerous. Even decades later, Paranormal forums and podcasts revisit the case regularly. New theories emerge. Amateur sleuths analyze old tapes. The fascination hasn't faded. Today, the house where David was allegedly possessed is privately owned, and the Glatzel family remains largely out of the spotlight. Arne Johnson eventually married Debbie Glatzel, and the two remained together for decades. Lorraine Warren continued to defend the case until her death in 2019. Paranormal researchers still debate the events, and every few years, a new witness or theory surfaces. Some believe the Glatzels were manipulated. Others argue the Warrens exaggerated the story for publicity. But those who were there and truly believe say the evil was real. Was it all an elaborate hoax, a shared delusion, or a rare intersection between our world and something far more sinister? Was Arne Johnson a killer grasping at a supernatural excuse? Or did the devil really walk into a courtroom in 1981? You decide. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories that blur the line between crime and the unknown.